Hey, my name is Christian Vuceta, and I just wanted to do a little intro video into who I am and sort of what I'm about. Firstly, I'm from Orange County, California, which is a nice little county. But I grew up near the beach, so that was always nice. And I decided to move to Europe for education originally to get my master's, but I've decided to stay just because it's much different from where I'm from and I can travel everywhere, and also it's close to the business that I wanted to be in, which is jewelry and diamonds, which is my personal passion. I've had basically since I've been like 5 or 6 years old. So it's come back in force, and now I really want to pursue it. And now here is really the best place to be for that. So that's sort of a little intro into who I am. So as I said before, it's my passion is jewelry and diamonds. Why or what makes me different, so I suppose, in comparison to the many people who have gone into this business, is I really wanted to focus on traceability, sort of the more ethical nature of diamonds and jewelry, and sustainability, which is a very relevant topic for today, today's climate, I suppose. Diamond industry is typically not the most transparent and has been involved in some shady activities. I'm assuming most people have seen, Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio, which showed based on a true story, but showed the more heinous aspects of the industry. And I really want to bring light and bring full transparency to the consumer, which is you guys, or just people who are interested, and show you how it really works behind the scenes, because a lot of information that people think they know is really outdated. I've seen that a lot just in comments that people make and on the internet, and I really want to bring light to show you how it works in reality today, since I have complete access and I've studied in Antwerp, and my business is registered as a wholesaler, so I know how it works from behind the scenes, and I want to let you guys in on what I see to, again, add transparency and, to hopefully make this industry better than it's been before, and to put it in a right direction, I suppose. So just practically speaking, the focus of the company, at least for now, is just rings mostly. So I have my own designs that I've started from scratch, so I don't have many as of yet because it's come straight out of my own pocket. They're not custom orders. So diamond rings mostly, but also I've been getting into sourcing vintage rings as well that I think are really beautiful. I can essentially do any custom pieces. It's not so much of an issue, but here the focus is really on handmade pieces, so not so much mass-produced 3D printed molds and things like that. It's more unique, and just the people here, the goldsmiths, do things a bit more old-fashioned, which aka by hand. But also, I don't really see it as a setback, so to speak. It's more quality, I believe, per piece than just mass printing pieces by the thousands or by the hundreds based on just very rigid models. So I believe that uniqueness is more important, and of course quality. So quality over quantity. So right now the focus is mainly diamond rings, but I can essentially do anything. I'm a designer. I can draw. I hand draw all my designs using my little iPad mini. But so that's sort of the focus for now. But essentially, it can change. So one important question you may ask yourself, and which is totally logical, is why should you buy from me? Or how can I give you a better offer than anyone else? I mean, money is always an important factor. Even if you have the means, you certainly don't want to be ripped off. But most people, money is definitely one of the biggest determining factors when looking at just buying jewelry and comparing uh, other jewelers against each other. So it's, brands is one thing, but really, is this a good deal for you? And the answer is yes, if you go with me, because essentially, most jewelers, how they work is, let's say they own a store. So there are many local jewelry stores here, and they have their own little brand. They have a storefront, so they have to pay rent, and usually quite high rents, because it's not just an office, it's a workshop. And of course, they have employees. So they have to pay salaries and salary taxes on top of all the other taxes that you do have to as a company in general. But the way I work is essentially I source materials wholesale and then have these local goldsmiths, master goldsmiths, make the pieces for me. Since I love jewelry in general, I have had pieces made for myself using these people, and I trust them to use the highest quality craftsmanship essentially available. So I know what they produce is of excellent quality, and I essentially have them make my designs using materials that I buy wholesale. So that way I can really cut down on costs. I don't have lots of overhead. I don't have to pay anyone's salary. I don't have business rents. So I can really kind of keep my overhead low and offer you, the consumer, just a better deal. And also, since I'm starting out, I don't have to charge as much as everyone else because it's not necessary. I want to give you guys a good deal, and I can give you a good deal because I have lower overhead costs. So that's really essentially why you should buy from me. And of course, I'm flexible. I have no problem talking with anyone. It could be a WhatsApp call, a video call, emails. I have nothing to hide. So I can talk about the process fully. I'm fully flexible. Since I use multiple goldsmiths who have certain specialties, I'm also flexible in designs, and I can go to who can specialize in what sort of area. So depending on what you want to have made, I know who to go to. Whereas if you were to go to just one jewelry store or one type of jewelry store, they may be quite rigid in terms of what they can produce. But I can design essentially anything, and I know where to go to have it made, and I can make it for cheaper than the rest, while still maintaining the top-notch quality, which I personally believe is the most important factor. You want these things to last. You want an item, a jewelry item, especially if it's very expensive, relative to what you make, to last lifetime. And I want to help you in that journey as well. And I think that's how we can do business in the future. Again, the purpose of this channel, besides of course promoting my own brand, is really to provide education in the industry. Because as I've said before, there's quite a lot of outdated information out there, and also topics that no one talks about ever. This could be things that are older or just contemporary topics. So for example, what is a lab diamond exactly, and how does that new industry interact with natural diamonds, and what's going to happen there in the future, and what's happening right now, what's happening with the prices, and so on and so forth. So it's not only just straight up what is this, what is that, but also how these sort of topics, again, like lab diamonds, really interplay with the industry and what the industry thinks of these things, and where the industry of diamonds and jewelry is headed in the future, at least what I think, and what the general climate is. Because those sort of insights, the regular person can't really know. You can learn about lab diamonds, but to know how they impact the industry is not really something that can be taught unless you're within it. So lab diamonds is one example, but there are many other topics that I think are interesting, and that you, the watcher, would also find interesting, even if you don't really wear diamonds or jewelry. Maybe you just want to learn about it, which is fair. And I like teaching people, and I like learning, so I think this is the best opportunity to do so. Ultimately, the purpose of the brand, or really the structure, not so much the purpose, is full vertical integration, aka to have my own production and to use my own production, aka my own diamonds from my own mines, into my own jewelry that I designed. This is quite a big task, so right now I'm just focusing on building my own retail brand, but I would like to get into the wholesale aspect, as in selling to other retailers, as well as using so the wholesale production of diamonds and other gemstones into my own jewelry as soon as possible. Because by buying wholesale, I know where the source of the stones are coming from, and I can bring maximum transparency. Unfortunately, this costs quite a bit of money just to start, so I can't do that as of right now, but is what I'm building towards, and I want to get there as soon as possible. And yeah, so that's the end goal, but you got to start somewhere, and basically selling as a retail brand is the most logical place to start.